Hey y'all, hey Facebook over here, hey Instagram over here. This is your coach Tonetta. I want to welcome y'all to this video. I'm here to, of course, inspire you to think bigger than you have ever thought before, and to, of course, empower you to, of course, become who you are. And I want to welcome you here to this weekly success call. This is our Sunday success call. We're talking about move something today. I know y'all like, what is that? Is that Luke move something? I guess the song back in the day. You can say it is that way too, but because he's definitely made he definitely made you move something as well. Maybe a different something, but he did definitely make, I guess, made you move something. But like I said, this video is talking about move something. Every time that I've, of course, read in the Bible, that kind of thing about God telling somebody to do something. He wanted them to do it right away, and they actually got up and moved and did it. I guess I put it that way, majority of the time. And like I said, that always strikes a chord in my mind to let me know whenever I get an idea, a God idea, or anything along those lines, I need to move something, get up and move and start taking action, start doing those things. I don't get ideas, and you don't get ideas for nothing. They're not there for anything. They're there for you to of course, start moving on to a store to. Lord, y'all, it's Sunday. I've been recording and all this stuff today. Now I'm getting tongue tied. All right, but like I said, when God is telling you or giving you an idea, or whoever you believe in, your higher power, that kind of thing, you need to get up and start moving on those ideas. Like I said, they're not giving you those ideas for nothing. They're giving you those ideas because they're ideas that's going to help push you farther along on your journey. We don't know where our journey is going to take us to. We may have an idea, but we have no idea the exact location, the exact day, the exact whatever's going to happen. We don't know that. Like I said, all we can do is we don't have an exact blueprint to our life. We don't have that. God or your higher power, whoever you believe in, may have that. We just don't have that exact blueprint. We may have a partial blueprint, but not the exact blueprint to know when we're going to, oh, goodness gracious, when we're going to die or what's going to happen in our life, any of those things. Like I said, that's something that we have to, of course, live with and start at some point be okay with. I know, of course, it's hard because I've been there, of course, wondering how can I control this? How can I do this? How can I get to this next point? And of course, I'm ending up not getting to my next point, of course, like I wanted to, me being disappointed about this, having all these expectations, but not having the results that I thought that I was going to get. And like I said, I had to start I'm still in the process of realizing that I do not control my life to 100, I guess 100%, that there's a higher power that's orchestrating things from above as well. And that when I get direction, that kind of thing, I'm learning nowadays as much as I can to, of course, follow those things. Even though I may not agree with the things, I guess I put it that way. I still find it hard myself. And I know I'm not talking to just a thin air. I know there's other folks out there who have a hard time following any kind of direction, God direction, any kind of ideas that you get, that kind of thing. Because the first thing that pops in your mind, I know it pops in mine, is that, oh, this is not going to work, this is stupid, or nobody's going to like this idea, or somebody's going to talk about me and say this is the wrong thing, or whatever the case may be. Hey, Sis Makiba, thank you for tuning in. I'm glad you caught me live, so that's a good thing. But like I said, I know I'm not the only one that have those thoughts like that too when I have ideas that come up and I don't know whether to move on them and that kind of thing. But I'm just here to tell you, like I said, every time I read in the Bible, God says, move, you move. If that's who's speaking to you and that kind of thing, go ahead and move and do those things. I know we always talk about how faith without works is dead. Yes, you can have all the faith, you can have all the ideas, but if you're not acting on those ideas, then nothing's going to come to fruition in your life. I had to realize that, and I'm telling y'all that again today too. I know you all have to realize that too in your own little way, but just understand that little fact, I guess I put it that way, that if you're not taking any action on anything that you're talking about, any ideas that you're getting, you think they're God ideas and that kind of thing, then nothing's going to come to fruition in your life that you want to see. It may come in a little bit, but it's not going to fully come into fruition until you start acting on the things that you're, I guess the downloads, if you want to call them downloads, ideas, whatever you want to call them, that you're getting. Like I said, I have a hard time with that. I have a hard time trying to control the situation and trying to control my life, which I did up to a certain point. But I realize now that I cannot control my life fully because I have no blueprint and I am not orchestrating my life as much as the heavens or the gods or that kind of thing is. And that I have to, of course, when I get those ideas, have to go ahead and act on those ideas. As long as I feel that it's an idea that I want to act on. I know I've done that in some situation. It's been like, oh my God, I should have did this, I should have did that. I didn't do it in the time that, when I got the idea and things just went kind of south, I guess I put it that way. I have experienced that many a times, not following directions. I've always had a hard time doing that, not following directions. I can tell y'all that. Because I know I'm not the only one out there who has a hard time following directions. I guess I put it that way as well. But like I said, moving something, getting to work, doing what you need to do. When you get those ideas, when you get those, that intuition is telling you, of course, this is a good thing to do. God is telling you to move on this. You're getting your answers, that kind of thing. That happened to me today. And I went on ahead and acted on it, I guess I put it that way. I don't know how it's going to turn out with the new vision for my podcast. I have no idea, but I'm acting on it anyway to see what's going to come about and what's going to happen. And like I said, there's something, we always have this on one shoulder. We have a good, and on one shoulder we have an evil voice that's, of course, talking to us in our head about whether we want to move forward or not. I guess I put it that way. The good voice over here is telling us this is going to be a great idea. This is going to create whatever it is in your life that you're looking to create. The voice over here is telling us, oh, that's stupid, it's never going to work, all those limiting beliefs and all those types of things. We all have those voices inside of our head. I'm not the only one. We all have those voices. You have those voices, and the people in the world has those voices as well. It just depends on how, or I guess it depends on how, but the main thing is figuring out how you can control those voices in your head. I guess I put it that way. Those thoughts and those feelings and that kind of thing that comes up with the good and then with the bad. Like I said, you have to figure out a way that you can control those thoughts. I guess I put it that way. To start thinking more on the positive, more that this is going to work. I believe this is going to work. This is going to be my truth, or whatever it is, instead of the negative, or this is not going to work, or so-and-so said this was a dumb idea, whatever it is. You have to, like I said, start controlling those voices in your own head about what you want to hear and what you don't want to hear. That's how you'll get to moving something. I guess I put it that way. Some move towards the past, some move towards the future. I'm hoping that you move towards your future, move on forward, that kind of thing as well. Regardless of what's going on in your life, I guess I'd say that. Like I said, we have to definitely get to a point where we can. I'm not to that point yet. That's why I'm talking to it about this video, so I can remind myself and make sure that I'm staying on the right track, and make sure that I'm teaching you all the lesson as well, to make sure that when there's something that's going on in your life that you want to, of course, see come to fruition, just making sure that you're, of course, moving in the forward direction. I guess I put it that way, and not taking your time to, of course, figure out whether this is going to be right, that's going to be right. Nothing in our life is going to ever be right. We have to just take what we have and run with it, y'all. I'm telling y'all that from experience. There was a lot of times in my life that I thought that I had to have all these things perfect. I had to have this right. I had to have this certain amount of money, or I had to have these people in my life in order to make this thing work. I didn't have to have any of that, as I found out. If I just would have just done what it was, the plan, the idea, whatever it was that I got, and worked it out, along the way, those folks and those things would have came. I would have, if I would have understood that in the beginning, I would have been and did those things. There's many of things that I should have done that I see. I wrote them down like in my journals and that kind of thing, my ideas, my thoughts, all the downloads I got, whatever you all want to call them. And now I'm seeing other folks living out those dreams, I guess I put it the way, and the ideas that I had. So I know that there's a godly connection there somewhere, I guess I put it that way. And I know that I'm not the only one getting the ideas like that, or the downloads like that, or anything along those lines. And like I said, I've missed out on several different things that I should have moved on. And I sat there and waited, trying to research, trying to figure things out, trying to find the perfect moment. And there never was a perfect moment until I, of course, see these folks over here doing exactly what I guess, like the information that I was given. Like I said, at some point we have to start moving. If you keep sitting still, trying to figure things out, to a certain extent, you will have to figure things out to a certain extent, but you can get started with whatever idea you have today without anything, whether just you and your camera, your phone, whatever you got, talking about it. If that's all that you do, you can get started and move something with that today. You don't have to have anything else right this moment. But like I said, eventually, yes, you will. But like I said, once you start moving and going along that path, God will bring, or whatever kind of higher power you believe in, will start bringing those people, those things, those items, those services, that whatever you need in your path, so that you can create that success that you wanted to see. I just want to make sure that y'all understand that. And like I said, definitely this is a lesson that I'm going through today. I guess I put it that way, today. And of course, the last week or so as well. But today it hit home. I guess I put it that way. That's why I'm doing this success call about this today. Move something. I know, like I said earlier, I had an idea. I was actually reading my book, actually. And let me tell y'all this. When I several months ago. I've been praying about the podcast, my podcast, Taboo Conversations, because I'm not sure where to take it to. I guess I put it that way. I started it, of course, talking about those taboo things that we all sweep up under the carpet, not wanting to talk about, want to keep them secrets and all these kind of things. But I already talk about those things on other platforms like this, on Facebook, on Instagram, other places. But the podcast was becoming the same exact thing. And I'm trying to make sure that I think of some other kind of content ideas to, of course, to move that podcast forward and to offer people something else different coming from me, the Black woman, the social worker, the life coach, that I can, of course, be of service to. And earlier today, when I was reading chapter 4 on this book called The Master Key System, I know it was a God idea, popped in my head, and it was telling me to, of course, start reading this book on the podcast, because I was looking at the book, and I know it's a public domain book and that kind of thing. And of course, like I said, the information I got was like to start reading those kind of books on my podcast to give people a different level of education, information, creativity, imagination, all those types of things, instead of just the same old, with the triggers to healing or whatever else I'm talking about, other places like the actual taboo things that we sweep up under the carpet, sexual abuse and all that stuff, because I'm already talking about those. But this is adding another element to who I am as a life coach, what I'm learning, and what I'm looking to, of course, teach you all as well, because these books, and this particular book definitely talks about the mindset, the thoughts, and all that kind of stuff, and how it creates our life and our environment. So like I said, getting that download, I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. And I'm like thinking to myself, like, the bad side, can I do this? Is this going to work? Is this going to be stupid? Is anybody going to listen? Then my positive side, just go ahead and do the stuff. It doesn't matter. And so I took the positive side and went ahead and did it. We went ahead and start recording. I recorded 2 episodes today, actually, intro episode, kind of, you can say, into the new vision for the podcast. And then, of course, the first actual chapter, the first intro and the forward to the book that I'll post on in a few days, actually. But I scheduled that. But like I said, I had to just go ahead and move on that and have with the positive and think about the goodness that it can bring to people who are listening, regardless as to whether anybody on Facebook or Instagram that I have on my pages now listen to it. There's other folks in the whole world who may need to know this information from this book called The Master Key System, and other books that I read in the future as well. And like I said, that was the ideas, and I know that was a God idea, because there's nothing that I would ever actually do on a podcast. The podcast, I wanted to be more personable and talk about my life and the different things I was going through, but I was already doing those things on Facebook, Instagram, everywhere else on social media. And like I said, I prayed about this, and that was the information I got today to start doing this on my podcast. So I went on ahead, and 5 or 10 minutes later, started recording. Regardless as to whether I have a new name for it, it's still called Taboo Conversations on Spotify. It's on Anchor Podcasts. It's on Google Podcasts, and a few others as well. But it's still called Taboo Conversations. I thought about changing the name, but I'll just keep the name the same until I feel like changing it. But like I said, I had to go ahead and move something on that, because I know that, and hold on before I get to that, but about the name. Because I am thinking about changing the name, but it won't be right today, right this second, that kind of thing, but it will change. I can tell you that, because I want to make sure that I'm focusing on, of course, like I said, the books and reading and teaching you all some other things in other arenas and in other ways that you all may not have thought about. These lessons, these successes, these laws, all this stuff have been around. This book was birthed back in 1916. So like I said, there's other books that are in public domain that I want to read to y'all. And like I said, get the information out there. It'll be something different. I know that. I'm sure that. I know that. And whoever wants to listen, of course, I hope that some of you all may come and listen. I don't know if you all will or not, but this book, like I said, for me, when I got to chapter 5, is very, very powerful so far. And I know this is different information. It's some information that you all know. It's not different per se, but it's in a different format. I guess I put it that way. It's me not telling my story, I'm just, because I don't want to keep repeating the same things that I'm telling y'all on Facebook and on Instagram and all these places on social media. I want to bring a different element to the things that I'm learning, of course, to become a better person, to become a better life coach, and to just become a better person overall, and to, of course, work on myself as well. But I want to bring that stuff to you all too, because I know there's some of you all out there who are listening need that. So like I said, that's definitely a different element. But like I said, I had to go ahead and get to moving. And like I said, when I heard those thoughts, when I wrote them, I immediately wrote them down in my journal. And of course, just start recording. Like I said, I don't know how it's going to turn out, but who knows? We'll see. That's how I look at it, I guess. I know I still have that negative voice saying that people may think it's stupid, or the little black girl reads and all this kind of stuff is kind of stupid or silly, but The positive side is telling me to go ahead and move forward, and whatever comes out, it'll come out to be whatever it's going to be, is how I look at it. So like I said, that's definitely a way I had to train my mind. I've been training my mind for the longest, trying to get to that point, because I know with the negative thinking, that's always what comes up first within all of our minds. I guess I put it that way. Then comes the positive sneaking on in. But like I said, over time, once you, of course, start creating those habits to, of course, think about the positive more than the negative, that's what you'll start seeing in your life as well. I just want to make sure y'all knew that too, and just make sure that I said those little 2 cents. I guess I put it that way. But like I said, when it comes to moving something, make sure that you all are, of course, like I said, I know with me, I'm definitely moving something. That's my story. That's my speak your truth moment for today. I guess I put it that way on the success card, because this happened to me today, and this happened to me before, but I didn't immediately move on those things. I took my time, and then here I see other folks living out my ideas, my imagination that I had, that God gave me, I'm sure. And I'm like, okay, that was my idea. They stole my idea, but I didn't take the time to move on it. I didn't even move on it. I wrote it down and left it there. That's all I did. So I'm telling you, from my lessons, from my experience, whenever you all are getting the God downloads, the God ideas, all those things, make sure that you're moving on those things, no matter how silly it may sound. I don't care if you're a person that never gets on video, and you have ideas, all this stuff about getting on video, because somebody out there needs to hear your voice and see who you are, to, of course, understand your story, for them to be, of course, able to move forward in their story. Then go ahead and do those things. Like I said, shame, fear, whatever it is or not. Yes, the podcast will be definitely very different for me, of course, reading books and stuff like that. That's something that I never would imagine actually for my podcast, but that's okay. Like I said, definitely I'm just going with it. I'm moving something, and I'm definitely going with it. And like I said, that's definitely the message for today. Like I said, telling you all my story, why I'm telling y'all about moving something and that kind of thing. Like I said, whenever you get an idea like that, a God idea, or anything along those lines from your higher power, whoever that is, make sure that y'all move. Don't just sit on those things. I've sat for years on, I have books, all these notebooks. I don't have one. I'm actually in the front room, so they're all in the back. But I have notebooks after notebooks after notebooks after journals full of ideas that I did not move on. A lot of them, actually, I had not moved on. And now I'm seeing other folks, like I said, coming out with these ideas and that kind of thing. So I know that that was a God idea, and I know how we were connected with those things. I know I was supposed to see that. When it came back across on social media, I'm like, I was supposed to have done this. I didn't do it. What the hell? What was the reason why I didn't do it? Listen to all that negativity about this ain't gonna work, that's stupid, and these kind of things that's going on in my head. I passed up a lot of good ideas. I'm pretty sure that. Nowadays, when I get ideas, yes, I will write them down, but I'm going ahead and taking the idea and just going and running with it. However it may look, it may not be perfect. I know it's not going to be perfect, and that's fine. I don't care about the perfection. I'm living perfectly inside my imperfections with everything that I do. Nothing I do is going to be perfect. Nothing you do is going to be perfect either. Nothing nobody's do is going to do is going to be perfect. But the main thing is for you to just get up and start moving, start taking action. Like I said, faith with, and like the Bible says as well, faith without works is dead, y'all. You can have all the God ideas and all this imagination and all this, you want to do this and do that, but if you're not moving on those things, it's never going to work for you. How whether you want to call, what is it called? Manifestation. Yes, you can think about those things all day long, but you still got to put the work in. Manifestation does not happen without the work. There's one point that people seem to not realize and understand. You can think about all these things and have all these things in your head, but you have to put it to action. You have to start doing some work behind those things. Otherwise, it will not happen. Now, I know a lot of us, of course, I've talked about how our gifts will make room for you. I've done, I think, a weekly success call or a video in the past about that recently, in like the past month or so. A lot of us have, some of us may have just one gift. It could be the gift of, I don't know, speaking or whatever it is. Some of us could have the gift of speaking, the gift of creating in the kitchen, the gift of, I don't know, dancing or whatever it is. All these gifts. I forgot the story, y'all. It was a story in the Bible I know I've heard of, but I just can't think of the names and how it actually all put together. But I know there was 3 people. One person, God gave 1 gift. The other person, God gave 3 gifts. The other person, God gave 5 gifts. And the person with the 1 gift held on to that gift and buried it and that kind of thing, never did even put it to work or use it. The other 2 people, of course, put their gifts to work and start creating stuff and start creating all this stuff and being of service to people. And, of course, in turn, they were getting service and whatever kind of monetary things that they were receiving because they're out here giving service. And, of course, God came back to ask the people why they started, well, the one person, why they never did move. why they buried their gift and that kind of thing. And like I said, it just reminds me about me burying my gifts in my notebooks. Not, of course, taking the time out to actually start the things that I said I was going to start and do and that kind of thing. I may have started a halfway and did not finish. I guess I put it that way as well. But like I said, I know within that story how the other folks had used their gifts and that kind of thing and their talents. I'm telling myself the same thing. I'm telling you, I'm telling the world the same thing as well. Whatever talents that you have, regardless as to whether they fit together or not. I have gifts and talents of I can bake very well. I've been baking and making stuff since I was a little kid with my great grandma. When I got off on my own, of course, in college, my first apartment, I was baking then, selling stuff, and putting smiles on people's faces and a good food. I guess I bake good in their tummy. I have a gift of writing. I have a gift of speaking. It wasn't always like that. I have a gift of creating meals in the kitchen, just doing all types of things. I have a gift of just making anything creative, actually. I have a candle set back there. I have like the little mess that you make, like what is it called? Like the throw rugs and stuff like that. I just order some. I love just doing stuff like that. Those are the gifts that I have. It's just creativity. I love doing things like that. And of course, being of service to the world, making sure that I'm putting out, talking about my lessons, my story to help somebody else, of course, move through theirs. I guess I put it that way. All those things are my gifts. And I know that I'm a change agent as well, to bring different perspectives, different mindsets to different situations, and to help you all, like I said, navigate through your own life, your own journey. I know those are my gifts and talents. And like I said, regardless as to whether they all fit together or not, I'm playing out those things, I guess I put it that way. I know some folks say, oh, she's baking over here, she's doing this, she's doing that. Those are the gifts that God gave me, and I'm going to use those things. Regardless as to whether somebody's saying, oh, she's doing too much, she got thousands of things, all this negative stuff going on. Why is she doing this? She was coaching at first, now she's doing the baking, now she's doing... I have all those gifts. And for a moment there, actually, because I was so much in survival mode and that kind of thing, and not able to, of course, think, and I had so much going on. Life just happened, and I had to get rid of a lot of things in my life so I can get in my own peace. Get in my own peace, get in my own quiet, and figure out who I was and what I wanted out of life. It wasn't until then that my life started to change, y'all. And I know that all the gifts and talents that I put on the back burner because of all the things that are going on, all the negative people I had around me, all the things I had going on, all the life just happening, all the me trying to be perfect and all this kind of stuff, that stuff is not cutting it. God gave me those gifts, and I have to answer to God, not the people. Yes, I'll be of service to the people. I know that. In the book I'm reading, The Purpose-Driven Life, I'll be reading another chapter of that tonight at 8 o'clock tonight, so y'all please tune in. But like I said, definitely, those gifts are for me to serve the world, but of course I have to answer to God with those gifts. Like that man in that Bible story, the one who buried his gift. God was asking him, why did he bury his gift and not even use the gift? So he took that gift from him and gave it to somebody else to go ahead and use. Exactly what the heck I've been seeing in my life. I forgot the name of that story, but I know that's exactly what's been going on in my life. Like I said, all those God ideas, whether I believed in God back then or not, all those ideas that I have written in all these notebooks and journals back there, I see other folks living out my ideas now that I should have been working on. God took the idea and that gift and that talent from me and gave it to somebody else. I can still do it, yes, but for me, the time has passed and I'm on to other things now. But that's okay. Like I said, anything from this point on, ideas, that kind of thing, I'm taking it and running with it, regardless as to whether it looks perfect in somebody else's eyes or I don't fit together. Coaching and cooking, how does that go together? It can go together however the heck you want it to go together. But like I said, I have gifts and talents just like you have gifts and talents. And if you're not moving on your gifts and talents, you best believe you're going to see your gifts and talents put in somebody else, and it's going to come across your news feed too, that so-and-so has your same idea. I've seen that countless times in my life. And I'm sitting back here thinking now, like, what in the heck did I pass up on all this stuff? I should have been and did these things. I don't know. I'm sure you have had that happen in your life at least once, or somebody that you know of as well. I know I'm not the only one going through that and have seen that in my own life. I know I'm not. And like I said, at some point we have to realize that we have to move something. Like Luke said, move some. We definitely have to move something, y'all. We have to get up off our butts and figure out whatever kind of ideas we're getting, God ideas, all these things. Get up and start moving something and start putting that faith, I guess, putting that works behind the faith. Going ahead and moving and starting to get these things done, regardless as to how it may look on the outside. You have to answer God, not nobody else. Just remember that. And like I said, that's something that I read in that book, The Purpose Driven Life, and that I read that about like a week or so ago, before the tragedy happened in my family and that kind of thing. I'm getting back to the book now, but like I said, that was something that I read in that book as well. We have to move on things, y'all. God gave you these gifts. Don't just sit on them. You have to answer to God about your gifts, not nobody else. Regardless of how they may look in the world. If you have gifts of working on cars, you have a gift of baking in the kitchen and doing coaching, do all those things. That's what the book said, and that's what the Bible says, and that's what I'm telling you too. God did not give you all those gifts and talents just to sit on. Move something. Get out there and do something with them. Somebody out there is waiting on your voice, on your food, on your baked goods, on your books that you haven't written, on your videos that you haven't done, on the speeches that you haven't given. Somebody's out there waiting on that. You're just the person that they need, that God is going to put in your path to get that information and soak all the information up. But you have to get moving on something, y'all. Like I said, I definitely want to bring y'all this success call today, because like I said, this is something that I was going through. I guess I put it that way, as far as today and in the past as well, and some of the things that I have experienced. So I definitely want to bring that on here today for y'all too, because I know I'm not the only one who's experienced things like this. And thank you for tuning in, Real with Makiba. I hope everything is well and your Sunday is going well too. But like I said, definitely we have to move on these things. And like I said, I definitely want to share my story with this, because I know it's going to hit home for somebody out there. I'm not the only one who has all these talents and all these gifts and that were sitting laying dormant, and now I see somebody else working them out. But I know I was given the idea to start doing this thing. I can no longer sit back and just wonder, oh, all these negative things. Oh, people are going to say this and they're going to say this, and she doing too much and she doing this. I had to start thinking about the positives in my head, what God has put in my head to do. Because I have to answer to God, not nobody else. So with that, I want to say thank y'all for tuning in. For those out there who, of course, are looking for something to, of course, get started with, as far as figuring out where you are in life, so that you can start moving forward. Make sure that you pick up the ebook. Is either in the description on Facebook, is in the description of the video, and on Instagram is in the link in the in my bio. Sorry, y'all. And the ebook is called Where Are You? The ebook will help you figure out where you are in life right now. It's free for y'all to pick up. And to help you figure out where you're going, y'all. It helps you lay that foundation in your life that you need, I'm sure, if you're missing some parts of it, like your finances or your self-education, your personal development, your spiritual development, health and fitness, all those types of things. It lays 7 different areas for your foundation, y'all, to help y'all move on. Well, figure out where you are and to move forward in your life a lot easier. I guess I put it that way. So like I said, definitely go ahead and pick it up today. So with that, I'm Tonetta Clay, your certified life coach. I want to say thank y'all for tuning in. Like I said, again, I'm here to inspire you to, of course, think bigger, and to, of course, empower you to, of course, become who you are. So with that, I want to say thank y'all, and I'll see y'all next Sunday in the next week's success call. Take care, y'all.